Hello everyone, welcome to Wholesome Sexuality. Here we talk about sex as it affects you, your life, your health, your relationship with you, your spouse, and your God. Have you liked, have you subscribed, have you shared? If you have not done any of these, you are totally wrong. Now run along while we talk about sex. And we're back. So today we're going to be talking about communication in marriage. And we know that there are different forms of communication. Number one form of communication is verbal and the other form of communication is non-verbal. But that's not where I'm going into today. I'm going into sexual communication in marriage. Yes, I have a video down the line that talks about how to communicate in sex. Now let's talk about communication itself. Communication, my definition of communication, I say it everywhere. I'm sure that some people would have copied it by now. But my definition of communication is this. Communication is what you say, how you say it, when you say it, to whom you say it, until there is a mutual understanding between both parties. I'll take it again. Communication is what you say, how you say, when you say it, to whom you say it, until there's a mutual understanding between both parties. You see, that last phrase is very important. If there is no understanding, communication has not ensued. I'm speaking plenty English today. I feel like a British person, so I'm just going to be talking about communication as it affects your relationship sexually. Now, communication is very important. It's very important. I've had couples come and say, sit in my office, and I'm talking to them and I'm asking, what is your wife like? And he's like, what does your husband like? And she's like, maybe he just likes when I touch him, or he likes when I kiss him. Are you joking? You don't have a blueprint of what your spouse likes. So what are you people doing? Trial and error. One day somebody's going to get tired of this game of trial and error. And then we'll come back and say, what did we do wrong? So we can prevent this whole banter back and forth by just having open and honest communication with each other. Right. So the first way to develop or instigate communication or actually have sexual communications with each other, first rule, it has to be open and honest. Open and honest. Regular conversations. Make it a habit to talk openly about your sexual relationship in your marriage. Oh, I love what we did last night. Or, last night was really, really good. But we could, spice it up a bit. Or maybe we change the location. Have open and honest communications. What do you feel? How are you feeling it? What could have been done better? What can be done better? What should be done? You see, there has to be open and honest communications. The second way to actually establish open and honest communications is to address issues early. Don't bury things. Don't sweep things under the rug. I was giving an analogy the other day, and I was talking about how you keep things in your mind is likened to sweeping things under your rug. So when you sweep things under the rug, one day that rug is going to get full. It's no longer be flat, and then it will burst. And then for you to now be able to stay in the same room with that rug, you're going to either have to dispose of the old rug, depending on the level of damage, or take the rug, wash it, sweep where it normally is, sweep, mop. Sometimes you even need to spray disinfectants. Then you will spray air freshener. Because the things that you have stored under the rug has developed and rotten. Guess what? Sometimes you will need to buy a new rug. That's when they're talking about irreconcilable differences. Yeah. Catch yourself. I don't know which one are you the rug or the sweeper. Catch yourself. Now, deal with issues early. If something is bothering you, address it early. Avoid letting issues fester. This will lead to resentment. The truth of the matter is that one day you open your mouth and you talk, and by the time you start talking, your spouse is wondering, this was 1985. I'm like, yes, but it's still hurting me. Why are we talking about 1985 issue in 2024? Discuss changes over time. Like I tell my people, right? Human beings evolve. Human beings evolve. So I used to like this yesterday. I may not necessarily like it today. But when we don't discuss it, we would be operating today based on past rema. Even when you're dealing with God, you need to get rema per time. You need to get information per time. So discuss changes, life changes, emotional check-ins. What are the life changes? During the course of your marriage, many factors might come in. Children, birth of children, raising children, change of jobs, change of houses, relocation, japa. Things happen. But if you just assume that your spouse is comfortable with the changes, then there will be a problem. And these things, once there's a problem in the marriage, it transits itself into the bed. So you need to be able to have conversations with your spouse. Then the next thing would be balancing desires and needs. And in balancing desire and needs, there's a place for compromise and there's a place for understanding. It's not every time your spouse says he or she is tired that you have to keep putting pressure for your spouse to actually have intercourse with you. Sometimes you compromise. Sometimes it's not every time you're tired that means we should not do anything. One party has to compromise for the other. Sometimes you need to compromise. Sometimes the place of understanding, right? Then you also need to discuss flexibility. You need to be sexually flexible. Don't be rigid. Don't be stuck in your own ways. Don't be stuck in your own ways. Don't be rigid. Be flexible to explore different ways to connect sexually with your spouse that will be satisfying to both of you. You need to be flexible. Don't be rigid. That also brings us to the talk of compromise and understanding. There are some things that your spouse may not be comfortable with doing yet. So you that is comfortable will need to understand and make compromises, make excuses for your spouse that is not yet ready for what you both want to do. Right. Another thing will be conflict resolution. These are things that affect the tone of your bed. These are things that affect the frequency of what happens in your bed. These are things that affect it. So you need to be able to have conversations, communicate with your spouse. The next thing will be conflict resolution. How you resolve a conflict will tell if you're going forward, going backward, or you're standing at a place. I'll say that again. How you resolve a conflict will tell if you're going forward, backward, or you are going to stay put at a position. Yes, you would not always agree over everything. There are healthy disagreements. Yes, disagreements about sex is natural in marriage. The key to approach this disagreement is with empathy and willingness to understand your partner's perspective. Like I always say, do not come into a conversation with your spouse with defensively. No, don't do that. When you are coming into a conversation with your spouse, you should be open. You should be open to listen. Don't be a defensive listener. Don't be a defensive listener. And then if all these things we have said are not working, seek help. Most times you just need a third party. Yes, I said it. You need the right third party to come in and help create the balance. And that's the work of the counselor or the therapist. Here we are. People in this terrain think it's only mad people, that mentally deranged people that need the services of a therapist or a psychologist or a counselor or a sexologist. No. Don't wait until your battery runs out. Don't wait until your battery runs out to visit the charger. Get yourself a therapist, get yourself a counselor, the right one that would help you and your spouse navigate these times. So like I said, the next time I ask you, what does your spouse like? You should be able to give me an answer. Why? Because you've sat down and you've had these forms of communication with your spouse. See you in the next video. I remain Vera Chikezie-Oke.